Whoa, you're listening to a podcast hosted on the Podcast Matrix. What is the podcastmatrix.com?
Being green is about more than saving on your electric bill or doing your part to protect natural resources. It is about getting a safe and healthier life for you and your family without sacrificing style, quality, or budget. This is a movement to provide all of us with clean air to breathe and water to drink, safe, healthy food to eat and places to live, and energy to run the places where we live, learn, play, and work. Your go-to information source for a healthier home and world, hosted by Marla Esser-Close, your green home coach. This is the Green Gab Podcast.
This is Marla, the Green Home Coach, and today I wanted to chat with you about water. Yes, water. I know water's everywhere, but it affects our lives so very much. You know, we can live without oil, we can live without, well, we can't really live without food, but we can go without it for a while. But water is vital to our very living. Next to the air we breathe, water is the most important things in our life. Today, I wanted to share with you an excerpt from my book, Living Green Effortlessly, Simple Choices for a Better Home. And it's talking all about water. I'm sure every parent has said it more times than they can count. Turn off the water. This is an important habit to instill in children, but wasting water is something that we adults need to be more aware of too. This is about much more than turning off the faucet. Water plays a bigger role in our modern lives than most of us realize. According to the Environmental Protection Agency's WaterSense program, a family of 4 in the United States uses more than 400 gallons of water each day for things like drinking, cooking, cleaning, and hygiene. That's a staggering amount of water. Just imagine having to carry that much water to your house before you could use it. Unfortunately, leaks account for more than 13%. That's 52 gallons for that family of 4. Of the water that's used indoors, according to the Environmental Protection Agency's WaterSense program. A toilet that doesn't shut off properly and even very small leaks can result in a noticeable increase in water use. If you see an unexpected rise in your water bill, look at all parts of your home's water system. You may need help inspecting the sprinkler or the pipes that run in areas you cannot easily access, but you definitely need to find the leak and stop it. Family of 4 also uses 1,200 gallons of water every day in electricity. So that comes to a total of 1,600 gallons of water every day. What? Yes, thousands of gallons of water are used by power plants to cool and clean key activities in making electricity. A 60-watt incandescent light bulb uses between 3,000 and 6,000 gallons of water in energy that it needs to shine 12 hours a day over the course of a year, according to a study by researchers at Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. Furthermore, electricity is used to clean, heat, and move water to our sinks and our showers. The interdependency between energy and water is a fact. Save water by saving energy. Save energy by saving water. Great idea. So almost everything we use in our daily lives has both an energy and a water cost. We just don't think about it since things aren't labeled with how much energy and water are used in their creation. Maybe they should be. There are many things you can do to save water or to use it more wisely. Take short showers, 5 minutes or less. Turn off the tap when brushing your teeth or shaving. Use low-flow shower heads and faucets. Use the half flush button instead of the full flush. Turn off taps snugly after using them so there's no drip. Keep drinking water in the fridge so you don't have to wait for it to cool from the tap. When washing dishes, rinse them all at the end instead of each dish individually. Do something about leaking taps and pipes today. Water the garden only when the plants really need it. Water just the roots and soils around plants rather than spraying the leaves and flowers. Use soaker hoses instead of sprinklers. Water the garden early in the morning before 10 a.m. or in the evening after 4 p.m. because less water evaporates when the air is cooler. And there's more ideas too. If you want to learn more, listen in to the podcast that will tell you more about how to use water more efficiently and plumbing fixtures with Angie Mendica of Crescent Plumbing. You want to get down and talk toilet talk. This one is it for you. You also can check out the full chapter in my book and learn more about how you too can quit wasting water and use it more wisely. Have a great day. Marla signing out.
Marla Esser, Green Home Coach. Gavin today with Tony.
Tony Pratt over at the Sound Room.
Hey, we've got a great guest in the studio today. Angie.
I don't know if I'd call her great.
Oh, listen to you.
Thanks a lot, Tony.
Angie, are you going to take that?
We've known each other for long enough.
I feel like I just got here, so I'll go easy on him.
Yeah. Angie Mendica, welcome to Green Gap.
Thank you.
And you are with?
I'm with Crescent Plumbing Supply. I've been there for about 8.5 years now. Just a little bit of background on me there. I started out in the design center, which back then we called the showroom, and kind of a good place to get your feet wet, if you will, in the plumbing business. Full of puns. And, just kind of get to know the product and the industry and the people, and then you can kind of go from there. And so for me, I took that background and knowledge and I quickly started kind of integrating into the outside sales arena. And I've been doing that ever since. About 4 years ago, I became fully 100% outside sales. So now my joke is they pay me not to be there kind of thing.
There you go.
So it's been working out really well. Just kind of building relationships and getting the word out about who we are and how we differ from our competitors and things like that. And this is actually a really good example of, I think, how we differ in a really good way, really knowledge-based, and we're really proud of the products that we offer and the people that we have sharing information and assisting with product selection and things like that.
And I personally can attest to that, as you helped me when I remodeled my bathrooms a few years ago.
Yeah.
And that was a real learning experience for me.
Yeah, it really is, because plumbing products you interact with a lot throughout the day.
You do.
And people, I don't think, really put any kind of level of importance on those products. They just expect them to work. And so you don't really realize how important it is until it doesn't work. And then it's always, typically, it's kind of an emergency situation.
Well, yeah.
If you will. And,
This is going down the toilet quickly.
But
yeah. More hey, we love puns in the plumbing business. You gotta have a sense of humor about it.
You do.
Yeah. So good luck keeping this PC. I'll do my best. You did introduce me as being in the plumbing business, so I'll try. But
good.
Yeah. Your sports jacket helps. I feel, a little bit more lifted, so I can keep it, a little. I'll keep it classy for you, Marla.
So the plumbing business, as you're saying, has all kinds of benefits to offer to homeowners, to residents, and they're not just water related. And there's a lot of beauty that comes with our bathrooms as you look at kitchen and bathroom magazines all over the place. But I know one of the things that you really taught me that I want to share with our listeners is how water is such an important part of our homes and our plumbing fixtures are, and how that can be a huge part of our conservation efforts. So it can be beautiful and still work. So I'd love to talk more about that. But also really recognized when you coached me through my own remodeling how much it's become more mainstream. Water efficiency with plumbing fixtures and how we put all this together. So again, another great topic for us to explore. And I want to make sure we also get some time today to talk about how you as a plumbing supply house can really serve homeowners, residents, and the experts that you guys have in-house and how they really bring so much to the table. If nothing else that I learned from working with you, that was probably my biggest takeaway. So I'm just excited to have you on to talk about that. Tony, anything else you want to bring up today that we want to make sure we get Angie's knowledge while she's here?
Well, my big focus, and, I've done so many papers on it in my educational background, is the scarcity of water. we don't think of it, especially in St. Louis, because we're
drowning.
We're deluged. It's a deluge every day, it seems. We're drowning in the stuff. But our listeners need to remember that water is the most precious resource in the world. And whatever we can do to help preserve that, use it more efficiently, and do it in a very beautiful manner is the best way to go. Wouldn't you agree, Ange?
Absolutely. We offer the residential side of the business and homeowners a huge amount of products and service and all that. We also do dabble in, I shouldn't say dabble. A huge part of our business is also the commercial side.
Right.
So we really do cover all aspects. So we can really utilize, a more kind of utilitarian feature as well. But to focus kind of on homeowners and residences, I should say, people really come in mostly looking for a timeless, functional product. And it just so happens to be that those products are conserving water.
Right.
Because the biggest change was when California started adapting the more kind of low flow and lower gallon per flush and things like that, that manufacturers said, we don't want to have to carry more products in stock, some for California and some for everyone else. So they said, we need to figure out what works in the lowest use of water and create a product that works using the least amount of water. And that's what they did. And then Kohler, for example, we are a huge Kohler distributor. I would say we probably sell more Kohler in the St. Louis market than any of our competitors do. And we're very proud of that.
I'm sure you are.
Thank
And
you,
I can echo that
Thank you,
sentiment.
Tony, for
At least in my old house,
being
I
so
could.
proud of me. Yeah. And so that was when you came to me, Marla, and said that you were needing some things for your home before you moved. The Kohler toilet was something that I suggested. In 2011, they came out with a flushing technology that we had seen in other manufacturers, but never from Kohler.
Kohler had all kinds of great technology and still does. I don't know about you, but one of the number one things I hear from people when they are doing a bathroom is, I want a toilet that flushes. Everybody thinks they need bigger toilet tanks to flush well. And
Right.
Kohler, I think, has done an amazing job of stepping way outside the box on that.
Yeah, there's just no such thing as a large tank in the toilet world. You've not been able to buy a toilet legally, really.
I was going to say, I've heard
it's not
people buy them
alcohol or
illegally.
anything, or
Yeah.
like,
Buy
in
them
the
from
prohibition.
Canada. Buy them from Mexico.
Like well, no, I mean, not even like you can't go to a legitimate store and buy a toilet with a large tank. They could not be produced. And so that was when actually Japan really took over our market with the brand Toto, which a lot of people still recognize as the best flushing toilet, which, mind you, they have not come up with a lot of new technology since then. And the early 90s was a long time ago. Let's face it, people. Okay, right? So
Easy for you to say.
that's a long time ago as far as technology is
20 years,
concerned. Okay. I mean, were there podcasts that long ago?
Nope.
I mean, that's the thing. We've come a long way as a society since the early 90s. And guess what? Toilets and plumbing and shower heads and aerated faucets have come a long way too. I mean, it's not rocket science. It's just plumbing. That's what they told me when I started. And look, here I still am 8.5 years ago. And so in Japan, they have a lot more people than we do. They did even still back in the 90s, and they had to figure out how to conserve water because of the growing population. And it's a resource, right? Now, here we are, 2016, almost 2017, and other manufacturers have come up with products that work really well. 1.28 is the California gallon per flush standard. So every decorative toilet that Kohler makes is on a 1.28 gallon per flush standard. And even dual flush toilets, the max flush is a 1.28. It used to be a dual flush was a 0.8 and a 1.6. And I should know this, but I don't. But I believe that the smaller flush is still a 0.8. Could be a 0.6, so don't quote me on that. But typically a dual flush is half of the fuller flush. You can kind of guess what the flushes are for. But that is an option as well. That's a totally different technology, though.
So wait a second. Right. Okay, so just in case our listeners have not had the opportunity to interact with a dual flush toilet, which some haven't, typically there is a one direction for a half flush for liquid waste only, and then there's a second directional flush or a second button sometimes for a full flush, which is for solid waste, right?
So I should back up so I don't eat my words. Okay, so there's a couple different generations of dual flush toilets. So the very first generation that I saw in the industry, and there could have been some before this, but from my experience, the first dual flush toilet that I ever saw was a lot more contemporary looking, much more narrow and sleek, typically skirted, which means you don't see the actual channel that the water and things are running through on the bowl portion. Right. And then we would typically picture kind of an oval shape on the top of the tank. And there's buttons that you push, so it's not a lever. They're more buttons. So one button is larger in size than the other. And the larger button is your full flush and the smaller button is your half flush. So you're using half the amount of water. So that's for liquid things. And the larger flush is for everything else. So even toilet paper counts. If you're using paper, you use a full flush. Now we have regular tank type toilets. They look just like every other toilet. They have a lever on the side of the tank or the front of the tank, and it can go up or down. You see this a lot if you go, to like Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. You'll see it's a blue and green, and there's typically a little sign that says if you go green, it's typically up because you have to think about that and do that a little differently. So if you go up, it's a half a flush. And if you push it down, that's a full flush because most people push down automatically. So if you're not thinking about it, you're better safe than sorry that everything's going to disappear. And so you flush down. And so you see them in both the commercial that way and also in residences now, where you can get the lever type dual flush. And people really like that because it just looks like a traditional. You don't have to explain to people, guests and things, how to flush your toilet.
Now if we could only figure that out for recycling.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot more difficult, isn't it?
I know. There's more than two choices, right?
Yeah, they do a really good job at the St. Louis Zoo too. There's another good St. Louis reference for you.
There you go. Well, and it's the explanations, right?
It really is.
Duh.
Pictures.
Yeah,
they make you feel really bad. They put landfill on the trash can. They guilt you into
That's to celebrate the good things you do and not get you for the bad things.
But they guilt you, and it's like, I don't want to get religious on you.
It's just reminding
positive
you.
reinforcement.
When it's it's educating you. Yeah, it is a reminder. Yeah,
yep,
this is going in the landfill. Don't put anything in here.
Okay, so I want to recap this toilet conversation, and then we can take a breather here and move on to the next plumbing thing of the day.
See, normally I always save the toilets for last, save the best for last. But we just jumped right in today.
Dessert. Hello, dessert before dinner, right? Wait a minute, that sounded totally wrong.
That does not sound right to me.
Okay, well,
I'm
the
just
good
gonna
stuff,
say it right
whatever. But I know back in the 90s, back in the olden days, when we came out with the first quote-unquote efficient toilets, so many of them just had smaller tanks, but they hadn't re-engineered the workings, was what I always heard. And I don't know if this is correct, so you can correct me. So a lot of people felt they didn't flush very efficiently. So it would take 2 or 3 flushes to effectively get the results of flushing away the waste. So there was this huge feeling that, well, water-efficient toilets aren't really efficient because I have to flush so many times.
Right.
So I found so many people now going, no, I don't want a water-efficient toilet because they remember the 90s and the poorly flushing toilets in their mind and haven't taken into consideration that things have been re-engineered.
Right. I started a statement on this and I didn't really finish, so I apologize for that. But the point is that so much time has passed, and when you relate that amount of time to anything else that you utilize in your life, usually things have progressed.
Yes.
Typically,
light bulbs, toilets,
right?
Cars.
Yeah. So this is no different. And
Right.
that's how you kind of first get that kind of vibe that it's okay. This really is better. I'm not just telling you this. Most things progress and toilets are no different.
Yep.
Okay. We're about to have cars that drive themselves. Okay. Toilets flush now. Okay. There's one thing we want a toilet to do. We want it to work. We want it to flush. Okay. Whatever is inside of it, whatever it is,
There you go.
It needs to just disappear with water and also the technology that's in, the flushing. So Kohler's technology switched to basically a cylinder. So you don't have a flapper anymore. Most people know, like, of a flapper, you can get kind of a universal flapper that'll go with almost any toilet. Well, that was kind of the way that it works. So you push down the lever and there's a little chain that hooks to your flapper and the flapper lifts up. And the flapper tells the water to run through the bowl and then run its course and then fill back up for the next flush. So the flapper had only 75% of an opening because the flapper was hinged on the opening. Well, this canister type of flushing from Kohler has 360 degrees of water that rushes in and it's at the lowest point of the bowl. So you have water going very quickly where it needs to go. They also, in 2011, when they launched this on the Wellworth, and they had not updated the Wellworth before this time since, I don't know, maybe the 70s.
That's a model, the Wellworth?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a style. And any kind of architect or anyone who specifies product knows they just forever would always just write Wellworth. Like, oh, we need a toilet, Wellworth. You know, you have to specify a model. You can't just put toilet. You can't just put water closet. They would put Wellworth, which is great for Kohler,
Right.
you know. But so then when they reinvented the Wellworth, just kind of as a standard toilet, this is what they did in 2011. They put this new flushing technology on this one toilet only. And then this kind of launched their whole new way of thinking as far as Kohler flushing, because they had all these different kind of technologies working up to this point. So because this is so great, like I said before, it's now on all of their decorative toilets, has the lowest flow. But anyway, you can still buy a Kohler toilet at a 1.6.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Hold that thought.
Let her
Hold that
breathe
thought.
first.
Okay. So then they also added water to the bowl. So not only does all that water rush to the middle of the toilet, where I'm just using standard plumbing technology, but we call it bulk waste removal, there's also a cleanliness aspect of the Kohler toilet that is completely different than any other toilet on the market. 100% better than a Toto, because they don't have any cleanliness. They do not feature any cleanliness standards.
Okay.
It's not clean. So I always say, yes, I'll sell you a Toto toilet. I'll sell you a toilet brush too, because you're going to need it. And we sell really cool European toilet brushes.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
It's a package deal.
Yeah. And
Throw it in for free, actually.
yeah, and also American Standard, which is also now a Japanese-owned company.
Well, I didn't know that.
So it's not an American standard, it's a Japanese standard. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, I just want everyone, to have all the facts.
Okay. Continue.
Moving on.
So do I get to ask my question now?
Please, no, yes, great time.
Okay, so you keep saying decorative toilet. What's a not decorative toilet?
Okay, so
A urinal.
Okay,
Kohler has...
I could kind of see that.
Yeah, so Kohler has product suites. This is a great question, Marilyn. Thank you for asking. So Kohler has product suites that they've created. So you can get a bathroom that has everything coordinating. The faucet, the sink, the toilet, the recessed mirror, the shower handles, the shower head, the tub filler, the shower base. It doesn't matter what it is. It comes in a full suite.
Okay.
Matching.
Okay.
Okay, so they have these different styles, and every style has a name. So those are the decorative styles. Or you can do just kind of a more basic kind of looking, it'll go with anything kind of thing. So the Wellworth has a coordinating pedestal, I believe, but mostly it's just kind of a standard across the board. Kind of goes with anything. It just looks like a standard
Gotcha.
toilet.
Okay.
And then the Cimarron is the same way. That's another kind of go-to standard, because people will call our office or our headquarters or whatever, and they're, okay, I have a small powder room. I need a round front toilet with a 10-inch rough. Okay. So standard rough-in for the floor, that's where the bolts go. Okay, you measure from the wall, not the baseboard, but the wall, to the center of your bolt. That is your toilet rough-in dimension. Standard is 12 inches. Sometimes you see a 10-inch. Sometimes you see a 14-inch, but that's it.
Okay.
Okay. So someone calls, I need a round front bowl with a 10-inch rough. That from Kohler is going to be in a Cimarron. If you want a comfort height, which is standard chair height,
Right.
Cimarron. Wellworth, you can get it in a regular height, not chair height. Okay, so things like that. So those are the lines that they're going to have their standard toilets in, the Wellworth and the Cimarron. Decorative is going to be, your pretty kind of frilly or like more modern or just whatever you want,
More
a specific
styled.
style. Mm-hmm.
I gotcha.
Yeah, we refer to those as the decorative. The one other thing to mention is I did mention dual flush toilets, and those are great if the max flush is only the 1.28. But if you're getting the max flush of 1.6, I always suggest just going with a full 1.28 or a toilet that has a 1.28 dual flush. But you don't really ever want to use a 1.6 dual flush because you're not really sure of the water savings that you're going to be.
And a 1.6 is kind of standard, but not necessarily water efficient.
That's the highest gallon per flush that you can buy on the market today.
Legally.
I mean, you can't. I would not buy a
Gonna get you on that.
I would not buy a 3-gallon per flush toilet because you want to know why. The toilets that are being manufactured today are going to work better than
absolutely.
that. Not only do they use less water, they actually work better, and the bowl is cleaner as far as a Kohler.
I like the clean bowl idea.
Yeah, I do too.
That saves me money, time, hassle,
Everything.
and germs.
Yeah, I mean, and it's just more aesthetically pleasing as well. All of those
There you
things.
go. Well, hey, let's take a quick break and we'll come back and flush some more news around.
That's just going down the drain.
I know.
24 Legacy features all of the hallmarks of the classic 24 on Fox. The only thing missing? You! Check out 24legacyfans.com now and jump into the best discussions about 24 Legacy. Log on to 24legacyfans.com. That's 24legacyfans.com, an official partner of the 24podcast.com effort.
Thought about a career in voiceover? Need a great, cost-effective on-hold message for your organization or business? Don't know where to start? Check out The Voice Farm, your one-stop shop for voiceover needs. Check it out now by accessing The Voice Farm at voicefarmers.com and see what difference can be made with a company that is truly outside the box. From the Voice Box, voicefarmers.com. That's voicefarmers.com.
Everyone's wanted to start a blog, but who wants to start one all on your own? Take your interest in creating a blog to the next level by getting bit by the Blogger's Bug. Blogger's Bug is a blogging community that allows you to polish your blogging skill set today. Log on today at bloggersbug.com and get bit by the Blogger's Bug. bloggersbug.com. That's bloggersbug.com.
Gavin here with Angie on the Green Gab podcast. And we've had quite the discussion about toilets. There's a lot of engineering in it, isn't there?
It's a lot of toilet training going on.
I guess. I don't really know much about the engineering of it. I was really impressed with one of the engineers up at Kohler. I had the liberty to visit, not this past summer, but the summer before. And basically his job is to engineer the best toilet on the market. And it was a room similar to this size, maybe a little larger, for that training. And, you know, you have competitors' toilets there that he's studying, and then you have the toilets that he's created. And you're there to flush the toilets. And you can see, side by side, the differences. And Kohler also has like a moving bus. It's like
I
the
wanna
Kohler
go.
bus. Yeah,
That
it's
would
like
be kind of cool
that
field
sounds
trip.
cool.
yeah, it would be fun.
I'm an engineer by training. I can be a nerd, right?
Yeah.
A water nerd.
There's a Kohler bus that we occasionally have.
Does it have a toilet on it?
I'll have to let you know when it's back out on the roads so you can try to find it. But it's really neat. It does something very similar. You know, they have Kohler's toilets. They have toilets cut in half so you can see the inside and how things actually work. And when it works, it's cool. It's great.
So you mentioned the Kohler store here in St. Louis, and I know there's Kohler stores. What'd you call it? Kohler Signature
So
Store?
we opened a Kohler signature store in Ladue.
For non-St. Louis people,
In the
that's a
middle
suburb
of-
of St. Louis.
Yeah, right. It opened in mid-May.
Now, are there other stores like this in other parts of the country?
Don't quote me on this, but we were like the 23rd store maybe or 24th store.
So there's others. So folks may be able to
I
look for
could be
one in their
wrong.
hometown.
Yeah,
I'm sure
we
they
may
can
have
find
been
it
more
online.
like the 11th store, and they're trying to open 25. That might be right.
So what's the goal of this store?
So the idea is to create a buyer's experience. This store is designed for end users. And
Do you get to try it all out?
there's a lot of working product in
You could
there.
always sit on them.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of working product in there. It's gorgeous, and people really get a first-hand example of what their options are.
Nice.
And it's beautiful. Everyone that goes in there is just completely wowed by it. It's wonderful. Kohler has a department for everything. And, you know, one of their departments studies how the store should be laid out and how the products need to be installed. It's successful. I mean, go figure. So it's very exciting for our company and really excited to be a part of it and have the store.
Yeah, I've actually been to the Kohler store here in St. Louis, and it's a wonderful location. It's beautiful. You walk in, it's very well done. I know I talked to a builder here in town who was at your grand opening, and he said he was just so excited because Mr. Kohler actually shook his hand and said, thanks for the business.
Nice.
Yeah.
I personally hadn't in the past started endorsing a lot of products, but as I'm using more and more things that I find really work, I do want to talk about them because I want other people to know about them. And I know a couple of the things that impress the heck out of me about Kohler, and thank you for educating me because, Angie, you were a big part of that. But not only have they offered a tremendous product that worked exactly like they said it would, it's beautiful, it was well priced, I got great value for my money, and it's made in the U.S., so it's supporting our people in our country. There's just so many values that surround them that I really have appreciated. So I really appreciate you taking the time to help me understand that. And there are other good products out there, no doubt.
Absolutely.
But I've had such a great experience with my Kohler products. And now that I've moved into my new home, I don't have Kohler products. And I miss them.
We'll work on that, Marla.
Well,
don't
we're
worry.
already talking about replacing our toilets.
I can't blame
That was
you.
quick.
I can't
They're
blame you.
horrible.
You can really tell the difference,
Yes.
can't you?
They're
Yes.
horrible compared
So
to what I
there
had
are-
before.
First of all, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. In my experience, it is easy to offer a product that works, and Kohler works. We do offer over 100 different product lines, whether it's, I call it pretty plumbing, or back of the house, where it's behind the wall, under the floor, what have you. We carry over 100 different product lines. As a supply company, we choose product lines that we know we can stand behind. So there are obviously well over 100 different lines
Right.
to offer in plumbing. We choose the lines that we feel like we can stand behind, and Kohler has time after time and year after year proved to us that that is true. That is the case. So I think we started carrying the Kohler line in the 50s,
Oh, wow.
but they started making plumbing products way before then.
Yeah.
And the history of Kohler is really fun too. Maybe
Well,
that can be on our next podcast.
I know. We'll have to do another
We'll
one.
bring someone from Kohler to help talk about
Oh,
Kohler.
that would be fun.
That would be.
Yeah.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I know it's a lifetime warranty on most. Is it all of their products or just most?
Actually, a lifetime warranty, as far as I understand it, is a state-by-state kind of thing.
Okay.
I believe in Missouri, when I worked in the design center, it was 7 years. I'm not sure what it is now because I sell...
It's a lot better than most of the others. Products
Yeah,
I looked at.
sell kind of jobs in the company kind of now, so I don't really... Individual product selections, I don't do a whole lot of that. I do some work on spec houses and stuff like that too, but it's not offering an individual product for each case. But I'm pretty sure it's something like that is 7 years. The thing, though, about Kohler is that they're not going to leave you hanging. So you're not going to get just, well, sorry, you're out of warranty.
Figure it
See you
out.
later. Yeah, bye-bye. And also, if that's the other good thing about buying things from a person at a supply house or at a store that you build a relationship with, as opposed to sometimes buying things online, that there's no person there, you don't have that connection, because you can always go back to the relationship and say, hey, remember me? We created this beautiful space together, and now I'm having this issue. Oh, yes, I love the way you put all that stuff together. I'm happy to help you. What's the problem? You know, as opposed to Amazon.com, you know.
And there's a place for
Where's
everything.
my order confirmation?
There is, but I do
Which
know.
I do shop Amazon, don't get me wrong, but
But Angie makes a great point.
for
And-
things like this.
And we hear it all the time on construction sites for custom homes of, oh yeah, homeowner, brought in this from Amazon or that from Amazon. Well, the question is, who's warrantying it? The plumber looks at it and says, well, great, but you're missing this part, so I can't install it.
And a lot of times when you choose a builder, or if you have a larger scale project, a whole house, or you're working with a remodeler that's renowned and that's what they do for like
That
you're
wraps
hiring
this
someone,
episode of the
this is
Green
their
Gab
job.
podcast.
They're going to advise
Ready to
you
use what
to
you've learned?
work with local
Get the
people.
show
I think
notes
the
with
more
all the
often
resources
cases that
mentioned in this
people are buying
episode,
things
plus
online, what they
9
want to
simple,
replace
straightforward,
a
low to no cost
kitchen
ways
faucet,
to improve
a
the health of
bathroom
your
faucet,
home and
a
world.
single
Today,
item, or
everydaygreenhome.com. Be sure to subscribe now on
Anybody can come
iTunes,
into a
Stitcher,
Kohler
or your
Signature
favorite
store
podcast
and
app
work
so
with
you
a
never miss an
designer,
episode.
consultant,
Thanks for
what have
listening,
you.
and remember,
Place an order.
being
We have
green
Saturday
is
hours
easy
for
and
that
more affordable than you
specifically
think.
at our design center at our main location.
Okay.
Lots of people come in on Saturday mornings. I need a kitchen faucet. My plumber's going to be there on Monday. I need a faucet. He told me to come here. And we love those plumbers or whoever. And we love those people that are coming to get, because the other thing is, They don't know it yet, but they love us because that faucet is going to last them a decade, at least. It should.
Right.
A faucet should last you at least 10 years. And by then, you want to redecorate anyway because it's out of style.
And then you can donate it to Restore and give it a
Habitat
second
for
life.
Humanity, yes.
Because it'll keep working.
Yeah.
So there you go.
A lot of people have existing faucets.
Go for it.
And there's different things you can do. An aerator is what controls the gallons per minute or your flow of your faucet.
But most people think the minute they hear aerator, well, let me back up a minute. So when I put in the fixtures that you provided me, I bought from y'all, my plumber who was installing them said, well, let me take the regulator out. And I'm like, oh, no. Don't touch it. He's like, well, everybody wants them out because the water pressure isn't good enough. I said, excuse me, sir. Do you realize that you're installing a Kohler product and they are designed and engineered to feel every bit as much power as you would with a non-regulated shower? No, I didn't know that. It was a plumber. But
gosh.
This is his way of thinking. So what this makes me wonder is how many other plumbers are out there thinking they have to take the regulators out, they have to take the aerators out because people are going to gripe, just like people put in bigger air conditioning units because the HVAC people don't want to be called back because there's not enough cooling. The plumber doesn't want to be called back because there's not enough water pressure.
Well, once again, this goes back to the whole technology that's involved in building science and construction. It's constantly changing. It's constantly being updated. And the minute you have somebody that is set in their ways because they've been doing it for 20, 30 years, they don't know any better. Nobody's ever showed them any different. They haven't kept up with technology and changes.
So, I mean, that was just
it's all about education at this point.
To me.
It is about educate. It's 100%. Yeah. And so we'll have different kind of lunch and learns. We have different events. A lot of times over the lunch hour or, after hours, plumbers have to have a certain amount of PEUs to hold their licenses. And every licensed plumber has to have a certain number of PEUs. I think it's every other year that they have to turn in their PEU.
It's a continuing education credit, I'm assuming.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's just a matter of trying to get the proper courses in front of the right plumber, the plumbers that are in people's houses every day. Now, there are lots of plumbers that aren't licensed. Those are the ones you maybe don't want working on your house.
So now on to faucets with the aerators.
Yeah, so that being said, I would always tell people or suggest to folks, when you're selling them a product and when you don't know who their installer is, because a lot of times we do, because we're heavily referral-based company, because we're wholesale, we're referred by the businesses. So if you're working with the homeowner, you do educate them in that way so that they know to have that conversation. Same goes with custom showering. So in California, they severely limited the gallons per minute that your shower can have. So here in St. Louis, we can design a shower that has 2 shower heads that mount on the wall, a rain head that comes from the ceiling, body sprays on each side, a hand shower if you want, and then you put together the proper valves that will make all of that function. And you could easily be pumping 10, 20 gallons per minute in a shower. No problem. No problem. Now, the average person probably doesn't use that on a daily basis. But if they wanted to, they could. In California, you cannot do that. I'm sure there's some ways around what their limitations are, and I'm not exactly sure what they are. But for the most part, you can't have that. As far as that goes, you don't ever want to pull any kind of restrictors out of your shower head. It voids the warranty. If you should ever have an issue with the product and you want to go back and utilize the warranties that are available.
Restrictor isn't a good name, is it?
It's more like a regulator.
I know.
Yeah, they call it a flow restrictor.
It's wonderful engineering because I know the way they work
it does restrict the flow, though. You pull a flow restrictor and your whole house, your whole plumbing engineering system of your house is not going to work. You have no idea how much water you're dumping. You could be dumping 7 gallons a minute out of one shower head in one bathroom. What if that's your kid's bathroom?
Yeah. And feeling maybe very little difference.
And now all of a sudden your kid takes a shower before you. You had to wash a load of laundry because you fell asleep on the couch the night before. Your dishwasher ran overnight because you set it on a timer and that's when it runs. Your child just took a shower in the bathroom that the plumber pulled the restrictor, or whoever pulled the restrictor, and maybe your teenager pulled the restrictor because they said this doesn't work like I want it to. Whoever does it, okay? And so then now it's your turn to take a shower, and guess what? You don't have enough hot water because you used all of it on this. You have no idea how much water is pumping out of it.
Yep.
And guess what? Most people take hot showers. So you need hot water. And you need the right amount of hot water. And so your water heater is set to function all of the gallons per minute for your whole house, because that's how we size them, for the whole house. In the event that this should happen, you're not going to have enough hot water.
Wait. I want you to repeat what you just said, because I don't know that most of us think about all of the plumbing fixtures, the plumbing pipes, the hot water heater, all being part of the same system. And that was a huge point you just made.
It's a bigger picture than just a toilet, a faucet. You want to look at your whole house and go, how much water am I using? So you should know every fixture, how much water is it pumping out? Is the faucet in your kid's bathroom putting out a half a gallon per minute? Because that would be great. Every secondary bathroom should be half a gallon, 1 gallon. That'd be great.
Of course, we still have to turn it off or it just runs forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2.5 gallons per minute is the maximum right now. I don't know what the max is in California, but that's the max for us here. So 2.5 is the max on a shower head, and I believe on a lab faucet, which includes the kitchen faucet as well.
I know most of them I see without going to water efficient, like a water sense feature.
Right.
Is
So
usually in the 2.0.
Yeah, what is the water sense? 2.0?
1.5
1.5,
for
yeah.
lab faucets for bathroom sinks. So sorry, folks. Those of us in the industry call them a lab faucet. So it's a
Yeah,
bathroom
lab faucet.
laboratory.
Yeah.
Showers
Showers are
that was
2.2, I think.
Showers are 2.5 max, but I think you're
But
right. I think it's
For
2.0
water
or
sense,
1.
it's either 2.0. There's different levels.
Yeah.
And then kitchen, interestingly enough, there's not a water sense
Well, it just
specs
doesn't make a
for
whole lot
a
of
kitchen sink.
This doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's just going to take up more time to fill up your pot. You know?
Right.
Doesn't
It's
make
like a bathtub faucet. There's
Right.
no regulation because you're filling up a vessel,
Right.
a container.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not going down the drain.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
But I love
So
the
don't
idea.
wash your hands in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Go to the bathroom.
There you go. We could go back to the old picture and bowl, right?
Yeah.
And you're contained on how much water you use.
That wouldn't be good because kids would never change the water.
Yeah. I do have a handful of those kind of green tips, too.
But you think how much water you would conserve if you had to carry all your water up the hill.
Oh, yeah, you could serve a lot.
I mean, we've really gotten kind of spoiled.
Kind of.
Okay, so I'm being nice. We love our convenience. I love my convenience. There's nothing better
We're
than a hot
Americans.
shower.
Well, that's why we have technological innovation. It's all
Exactly.
about to increase
Right.
convenience
Exactly.
in reality.
But we forget. I want to be grateful for that, and I don't want to take advantage of it.
So water
So I
heaters
want there
are
to be
huge.
enough for everybody, right?
Yeah, water heaters are a huge topic on those lines. A lot of people think that tankless water heaters, are going to conserve the most. You have to be careful because if it depends on your climate.
Very situational.
Yeah, that type of product was designed for the southern climates. You didn't even see them in St. Louis for years. And then salespeople, run into
Yeah,
salespeople.
we've only seen them about 8 years.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
run into salespeople and they just want to sell their product. And, it may not always be the best product for you. So people do a lot of research now before they make a purchase. Most people, but other people rely on professionals. So you want to make sure that you're asking a lot of questions when you are even dealing with a professional and just get all the information. And hopefully you're working with a professional that wants to give you all the information. The great thing about you, Marla, is that you can be that professional for every aspect of the industry as far as green products in your home, period. And if you don't have the answer, you know someone who does. And so that's what's
That's
really
when
great.
I depend on you.
Yeah, and so that's what's really great about you because you have kind of weeded out all the people that I don't trust their judgment, so you're probably not going to refer people to them. Tankless water heaters, a lot of people do use them in St. Louis still, and there are, plumbing contractors that suggest them, but you have to kind of do double duty because you're only going to get a maximum of 6 gallons per minute in the dead of winter. And
if
that
you
may
don't
not be
add up how
enough
much water you need.
for your house. So
Yep.
that's when you have to consider every appliance in your home that utilizes water.
Right.
And you have to do a little simple math and make sure that you're not going to run out of hot water when it's freezing outside.
So here's a
3
great
degrees below
reason.
zero. And,
Right.
Yeah.
When the water's coming in ice cold.
Yeah.
Looking for a straightforward user interface and a cost-effective, feature-filled multi-track recording software? Call off the search. Mixcraft from Acoustica has exactly what you're looking for. It's time to include reliable audio creation and editing software with real punch into your projects. Check out Mixcraft now over at acoustica.com/Mixcraft and start a new generation of audio creation and editing today.
Wouldn't it be cool if your advertising could last forever? It can with perpetual advertising. Here's how it works. Unlike TV or radio ads, where every instance the ads are broadcast, they're only played once and lost forever. Perpetual advertising can have repeat exposure and replayability weeks, months, and even years after they're inserted in a podcast. So even if a podcast is a few years old, your ads will still be impactful to repeat listeners, as well as new listeners. This gives your advertising dollar the most bang for the buck. Find out more about perpetual advertising at twoguystalking.com/sponsors.
Shield was introduced in 1965 in an edition of Strange Tales, featuring Nick Fury. It was billed inside comic books as the greatest action thriller of all time. And it's safe to say that secret acronymed International Intelligence Collection endeavors would never be the same. Another, even greater episodic series is ready to take the greatest action thriller of all time mantle. And we hope you'll be listening. Don't miss the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast, reviewing each and every episode of ABC's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. bullet point by bullet point. Check it all out right now at agentsofshieldpodcast.com. That's agentsofshieldpodcast.com.
So here's a great reason to work with a company like yours is you guys and ladies understand the systems of plumbing and how all the different pieces impact that system. So when you're working with a homeowner or a builder or a remodeler or a designer, you can help them to look at all the different aspects. Because when we as individuals tend to go into a big box store, we're looking at one component. Mm-hmm. We go look at a faucet, or we go look at a valve, or we go look at a tub fixture, and we don't necessarily see the whole system. And typically people at a big box store aren't trained to help us look at the system. You guys are.
Couple of comments on what you just said. First of all, we're not plumbing engineers. We are merchants.
But you're experts.
We are offering the best products that we feel are going to solve your problems and function and work in a way that you're not going to be continuously coming back to us needing parts and what have you. So we carry A.O. Smith water heaters. We have for years. That's the brand that we carry, period. We carry one brand. And it's amazing. And they are constantly on the cutting edge of high-efficiency products that they're offering. The EPA just passed the NECA, which is basically there aren't residential gas water heaters over a certain size. So very worrisome, for people in smaller multifamily units that had a tall, skinny water heater in a closet. And now, where is this thing going to go? What if those heaters that we installed in this entire building in that closet are eventually going to go out? What are we going to do for those people? Things like that. But we try to stay up on those rules and those products and make sure that we're still always offering the quality products. But we're not engineering a system. So what we do, because we are a wholesale company, we work with your installer to make sure that you're going to get a really good product and they're going to install it properly. And then secondly, the big box stores' products are totally different than the products we carry. All of your larger brand manufacturers that are in the big box stores and also out of the big box stores, so selling to plumbing wholesalers and the big box stores, I can't speak for other aspects. I would imagine that paint is similar because you have Sherwin-Williams. Sherwin-Williams doesn't sell paint in the big box stores. Right. So there's different levels of quality. So that's my only analogy. Sorry, that came to mind. But something like that. Okay, so you have those kinds of different levels of quality. That is the case with plumbing. So the larger manufacturers that are there create a 100% separate product for those stores. Moen is another good example. Kohler does it. you'll
and
see.
they can look very similar to what's in the
But
plumbing
now
supply house, but they are not the same.
Right. So if you go to one of the big box stores and you find a Moen faucet and it has this name on it, and then you call me or one of our wonderful ladies in the design center and say, hey, I saw this Moen faucet at the big box store and I love it. I'm ready to buy it. Okay, great. So I go on Moen's website because I'm not familiar with that style, and I should know every Moen style because I work in a plumbing design center. And it says exclusively at LOWES. Okay, there it is. Well, I don't offer that product. That product is filled with plastic. It is 100% plastic. It has a plastic interior, it has a plastic exterior. It may have a ceramic cartridge. Great. That's great. But the outside is actually plastic too, and it's painted to have a metal finish. There's nothing metal on that faucet. It's not brass, it's plastic. Those products, and I've never worked at a big box store. I try not to really use products from the big box store if I don't have to. Just kind of a different mentality. I don't know, ever teach their own, right? Thank you. Thanks
We're
for
in
giving me a
favor of
pass.
local.
Yeah, thanks for giving me a pass on that. But those products, in my opinion, are designed to last 6 months to a year, if you're lucky, a year and a half, because they want you to come back and buy another one. And so that's not the business that we're in. It's a totally different product. It still has the name that you know and trust. It's a totally different product.
Yeah, electronics manufacturers do the exact same thing because you walk into a Costco, a Walmart, the Best Buys of the world, and you look for a TV and it's like ridiculously cheap. Well, if you walk into more of a boutique store, they don't carry those, but then again, they carry something totally different at the boutique store that's made to last a whole lot longer and be a better performance. The big box stores, all they care about is repeat business and turnaround and quick prices.
This is something you and I talk about
much
on the Green Gab, is that if you have an opportunity to support local, you're going to get people that know their business. You're going to get to keep people employed in local companies that give back to our community and that know our community and contribute to it. And you oftentimes, you're going to get a superior product.
Yeah. Most manufacturers do the exact same thing. They want to have their shelf space in the big box stores because of volume. So they find some products and manufacture them at the lowest price possible. They value engineer it to get it to that price point, but then they're high quality, higher margin, longest lasting merchandise they sell out to the local boutique stores.
So speaking of stores, since we want to get people to you, how do people learn more about the store and how can they come in and visit with you guys for their plumbing needs?
Sure. Thank you, Marla. So our Kohler Signature Store is very easy. You can find them at kohlerstl.com and it'll take you right to their website. Also, Kohler Signature Store StLouis.com. KohlerSTL.com is a little bit easier.
We'll put these on the podcast notes too. So if you're not writing furiously while you're listening to the podcast, it's okay. We got you covered.
Yeah, thanks. Also, our website for Crescent is crescentsupply.com.
Well, I know how much I've learned from you over the years, and I really thank you for that. And I know there's a lot of exciting stuff to come. I'm excited to see what is next around the corner.
Yeah, we have the Builders Show coming up. The Kitchen and Bath Industry Show merged with the International Builders Show a few years ago now. And so this will be the 4th year that it's been combined for Design and Construction Week, which is super exciting. And, you know, we get to see our plumbing manufacturers' new products. So, yeah, maybe another little visit with some product updates would be in favor.
There you go.
Well, we could talk about that in Orlando when we're all down there.
There you go.
Yeah.
We'll do it there. Well, Angie, I can't thank you enough for coming on the Green Gab and sharing so many wonderful things to think about. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot more to talk about in the future. So
absolutely.
Thank you
we'll
for
look
having
forward
me.
to it. Hey, have a great day.
That wraps this episode of the Green Gab podcast. Ready to use what you've learned? Get the show notes with all the resources mentioned in this episode, plus 9 simple, straightforward, low to no cost ways to improve the health of your home and world today at everydaygreenhome.com. Be sure to subscribe now on iTunes, Stitcher, or your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, being green is easier and more affordable than you think.